What is up? Welcome to Rockstar Nerds. Last time I said Rockstar News. I messed up on that one. I'm Mighty Mike, your host, and joining me today is Kristen, the Bearded Wonder.
The Bearded Wonder, who's got the short beard today.
Yeah, he got the short beard there. All right, today's show, we're going to be talking about how Michael Keaton is in talks to return as Batman in the Flash movies. That should be interesting.
He's gonna be rocking a cane.
He's gonna be rocking a cane. He's gonna be as old as Alfred. And then George R. R. Martin hopes that the Winds of Winter will be released in 2021. They don't actually say when, but it's probably gonna be winter of 2021 at the speed he writes.
I'm just glad he survived.
Yeah,
by the time he finished it,
he didn't get COVID-19 during that period.
Yeah.
That's good. And then going into the whole Black Lives Matter and social justice going on, the interwebs, cancel culture. Jenny Slate and Kristen Bell will no longer voice biracial characters on Big Mouth and Central Park. And if we have any time, we'll talk about Jenna Marble's quitting her YouTube channel there. So, yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting. So, I mean,
world we live in.
So when Michael Keaton, and we'll jump right into this.
Yeah, do it.
When Michael Keaton played Batman, that was in
that movie came out what, in the 90s?
93, I think it was. No,
93.
shit, 1989.
Oh my God, 30 years.
So about 30 years ago that Michael Keaton played Batman, and now he may be returning to reprise his role in the latest Flash movie. But it depends because he's in talks right now. And there was, when Michael Keaton was playing Batman, he did it twice, and he was always known as a comedic.
Yeah.
And then when he played that role, a lot of people were kind of like, this isn't the Michael Keaton.
Out of his element. Yeah, he's
exactly.
Out doing his own thing. Like, no one saw him as a serious character, let alone a dark character.
This is Tim Burton's Batman, so it was never really dark. So it was more campy than anything.
Yeah, Tim Burton has an element of dark. We can't deny that. I mean, look at all of his past films; they've all been somewhat dark. But yeah, he's 68 years old. I just looked it up. And so this is going to be like Batman Beyond. Like, he's just going to be like, I'm retired. You're going to be the new Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's literally what they want him to be. They want him to be like a more retired Nick Fury of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And because like you said, like DC is trying to make themselves this epic universe to cash in.
Exactly, but they shouldn't be trying to reinvent the wheel. The wheel has already been made, and thank you, Marvel. So just go ahead and replicate it, invest the 10 years into it, and then just give each character a movie and built up the characterization. That way, when you have this giant film, which would be Justice League, it would make sense. You wouldn't have to introduce all these characters in one film. It's already been done. So all I had to do is just do the nuances, and everyone would fall in love. But no, they did it all ass backwards.
Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest complaint about Justice League. It was this, you were supposed to have this emotional connection to these characters, and you didn't because you didn't know who the hell they were. You were just like, oh, there's Aquaman. Oh, there's, I forgot what's his name, the robot guy. What the hell's his name? Cyborg?
Cyborg?
Yeah. There you go, Cyborg. But they had to kind of squeeze in his story just to let us know who he is. And I'm
same thing with Barry. Like Flash, they had to do it all that. And Aquaman came after Justice League too, didn't it?
Yeah. So he was kind of thrown in as an after effect, and so it didn't set up the universe correctly.
No,
Cyborg would have had an amazing story to tell.
I agree.
And if they 100%. Had the time to sit there, but they're just like, oh, we're gonna tell a story in a 10-minute segment of this 2-hour-long movie. So just you had no connection.
Yeah, and because in Justice League, he had a very important role in the film. He was pretty much the person who kind of controlled and tried to figure out this element that they were dealing with. And so he had a very important role. And to give him only 10 minutes of back time just was horrible to his character.
And it's not only that, his story, his connection with his father, that was an emotional anchor that was part of it. And that was done so rushed. You could see, if this was an actual movie, they had his father being played out the way he was, but just stretched that over time. When we went into Justice League, it would have been that emotional connection, and they wouldn't have to do a lot of this, backtracking to explain the story,
Mhm.
you know, we could have went into we would have been able to make, or they would have been not me, but they would have been able to make Justice League so much better.
Right, because we would have known everyone's backstory, and that's where DC really effed up versus like Marvel. We knew everyone's backstory. We had everyone's character dialed in. That way, when it came time to this collage of main characters under one roof in one film, there was no need for it. You could focus on the present and the time that the conflict that they were dealing with in that motion, instead of having to, all right, cool, here's this thing, and then now we're going to go ahead and skip to another scene of their flashback.
Yeah.
And like, it's literally taking one giant story and subdividing it into different stories for each character, which was just god awful. I mean, we knew Superman's character, we knew Wonder Woman's character, we didn't know Batman, we didn't know Aquaman, we didn't know Flash or Cyborg. It was like, wow, you left out what, 3 main characters out of the whole series, just to combine it all. Horrible.
Well, let's say that they're trying to work backwards now. So you know, hopefully,
trying to backtrack.
Yeah, maybe they can pull something out of their asses. But if you know Michael Keaton comes back and plays this role, I don't know who he would play besides Batman. Like Batman was always kind of like the I don't know, second leader of the Justice
Batman?
League.
No, he was like I guess he was like the more brain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
brawn.
Yeah, exactly. He was more brains. He was more of the pragmatic. He was like the only one who didn't actually have superpowers besides being a billionaire.
Yeah, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wait, that's Iron Man. Excuse me.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how they do it. But so far, the track record for DC has kind of been, you know, hit and miss.
Always,
like horrible.
It's always been like pretty bad.
Yeah. But anyways, speaking about horrible hit and misses, so you haven't seen, or have you? Maybe I misheard that. Have you read, or not fucking read, I can't talk. Have you seen the last episode of Game of Thrones?
Negative. I'm on denial. I have not seen the last episode or last season because I don't want it to end.
You don't want it to end?
I don't want it to end, but I know it's always there. I have access to it, that I could binge through it in literally 2 days.
Oh man, you're about to get
I want to, because I feel like I'm just gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. I know it.
Well, you're gonna cry because it was done so badly. And
was it? Don't tell me.
You don't know, dude. You gonna this is sport. This is Rockstar Nerds using spoilers everywhere. So, anyways, season 8 is probably the most criticized season it's probably the only criticized season of the entire show. And it was because, and I won't go into details, but it was because like, the hell their names, DD and DDMB, whatever. They essentially rushed the project. As far as like the story arc and the direction that they're going and what they're trying to convey, like I understood it. I knew where they were trying to go, and I think everybody else did. But it was like, you know, you have this master builder who's putting this car together, and you know he's making sure everything's correct, make sure all the parts fit, making sure everything's good, and then at the last second he calls over Jimmy, who's never done anything in his life, and he's brand new to the shop, and he's like, finish the paint job, and Jimmy comes over and just like kind of doesn't use a sprayer, uses actual paintbrush on the car, and jacks it up and ruins the whole thing. Doesn't matter how good the car is anymore, right. It's ruined.
Well, the last season was less episodes, but they were longer, right?
Yeah, they were longer. They were typically probably like I think 120 minutes. Yeah, 120 minutes, something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, an hour and a half. But it was still because the story arc that they were trying to go with didn't have the time to kind of convey it, so they had to rush it. They had to sit there and kind of like use exposition to. They had to like sit there and just kind of like fill in the backstory with back lore, and it wasn't like in the show. They're like, oh, the reason why these characters did this is because of that, but it was never conveyed. Like Game of Thrones has always been this very, very well thought out, very, you know, plots and twists and characters with their own motivations and their own agency. They were doing their stuff, and it made sense in the world that they lived in. But it comes season 8, like it became like this completely different thing, and that's what kind of upset everybody. Yeah. So, cool. Winds of Winter is the book that's supposed to be covering season 8. Well, not covering season 8, but it's supposed to be based off of season 8, or not. Sorry, the opposite of that. Season 8 is based off of this. And George R. Martin, he's notoriously known for being super slow when it comes to writing his books. And because of the pandemic, supposedly, he's actually done the ultimate social distancing. He's gone out into the woods and into a cabin, like the Stephen King
Cabin
way
in
of
the Woods,
writing.
Stephen King way of writing. And then I think there's also many films about writers just going off into cabins. And actually, I think it's a real thing. Many writers go off.
Tons. Yeah, tons of writers
seal themselves off from the world just so they can write.
One of my favorite writers, Thomas S. Hunter. He would do the opposite. He would go to Las Vegas, get drunk, and use drugs and shoot at his neighbors. So, that was his writing methods. But supposedly this is going to be released in 2021, so we'll see if that's going to be true, depending on like what's happening with COVID-19 and the economy, and if he's lying to us or not.
Right.
But I know there's tons of Game of Thrones fans out there who've been waiting for the book to drop because they want to compare it to season 8. And I think season 8. Not season 8. I think the final book is going to fill in a lot of the gaps and do a better job at conveying the story that the show was trying to do, but was unable to do it because they didn't have the time or the space. Like, this book is supposed to be huge. Like, according to him, it's just huge. He doesn't have a number on it. He just says it's huge. So
that tells me many characters will die.
We all kind of know what characters are gonna die, but
right.
I'm just hoping that he does a better job of conveying the story that was trying to portrayed or on the show, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, going on to the other topic, we're just burning through these things right now.
Man, let's go. Keep it.
All right. So, besides pandemics, lockdowns, we have Black Lives Matters, the movement and the protest going on right now. And to be honest with you, that's been going on for years. It's just now, it's kind of flared up, and there's a lot of people because of the whole George Floyd incident, his murder. So it's kind of flared up, and a lot of people are out there. And so you're starting to see a lot of people in Hollywood and other places that are kind of like, I don't want to say bandwagon, because I don't know their motivations, and I don't want to sit there and say that I do, but a lot of them have started to come out now, about some of their past aggressions. And it was like, guys, blackface and doing these things were always never good. So like, why are we all of a sudden now coming out trying to be virtuous? So to me, like, I feel like it's virtue signaling when a lot of these celebrities do it, but I don't want to, put words in their mouth and say that they are, but that's kind of what the feeling is.
This is your perspective, and everyone watching will understand whether they agree with you or not. It's your opinion.
Yeah. So you know who Jenny Slate is?
Jenny Slate. I got to put a face on. The name is familiar.
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff. She plays a lot of character actors. She's never had like her own,
Oh yeah,
starring spot.
I know her. Yeah, she's had a many sub roles.
Yeah, a lot of sub roles. She's actually like really, really funny. She plays a lot of comedic roles and stuff like this. So she also voiced one of the characters on Big Mouth, which is the I forgot her name. I love Big Mouth, and I don't ever know anybody's name. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, it's one of the characters that is like a mixed racial character. She has a white mom, black dad, and she kind of talks with like a lisp and has braces on. Man, why am I so bad with names? Oh, Molly Tillerman. Molly, yeah, Molly's her name. I may be wrong, and someone in the comments can be like, "You're wrong, Mike." So she's partially, she's like half mixed, and so my thing is that like she says she can no longer justify playing the character, and it's just like, are we like really?
Is she's the one that's saying this, or is it people calling her out?
No, she's saying that. She came out on her Instagram and she posted a comment. So did Kristen Bell. Talk about how, justifying her move and, kind of explaining like what's going on. And my thing is that like, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Hispanic. I'm not saying I'm black, but I'm pretty close to it. So I'm like right in that middle territory there. Like to me, if like I had a white person playing a Hispanic character on TV, or like it's happened before, or voicing a Hispanic character, it wouldn't bother me. Like, I'm never ever going to sit there and say, like, that's wrong. But it's also like I'm not into identity politics either. So it's just like I don't know. Like I would like to get some opinions from people in the audience and around just to see if like is it something that it really concerns them if they hear like a white girl playing a partially mixed. I don't know if that's correct. How do you say that correctly? Partially
mixed race,
mixed race,
mixed race,
mixed race cartoon character.
Yeah.
Is that is that something that bothers you? Like to me, like I don't know. Like
the
I feel
character
like,
itself is a mixed race girl.
Who?
The character itself, the voice that she does, Jenny Slate. She voices the character Missy Foreman Greenwood, a young mixed race girl.
Missy, not Molly. There we go. Yeah. So no.
Missy.
So yeah, that's what she's saying. So she's a white girl who's voicing a partially mixed race girl, and she's quitting because she says she can't justify it. And like to me, like it's like, are you virtue signaling? Is that something that someone came up to you and was like, "Hey, we have concerns," or you just kind of like don't want to? Are you preemptively trying to get rid of the backlash? I don't know. Same thing.
Whether it's a move to try to be before she gets attacked, a character assassination via Twitter, or is she something that she's truly feels strongly about ever since she started the job? I mean, or is this now all of a sudden because this whole thing is in a limelight now that she's like just kind of jumping on, like you said earlier, it's just a bandwagon thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because the timing is what's making me question their motivations. It's like,
because if it was always an issue, she would have never accepted a job. Same thing with Kristen Bell.
Like there's 3 seasons of this.
Yeah, there's 3 seasons of this, and she's mixed race herself. She and her family are Jewish. One of her grandmothers was born in Cuba to a family from Russia and Turkey, and was raised in France.
Yeah. Like I think so. Like I don't want to get political on the show, but I think it's just like.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about cancel culture and Black Lives Matter, you're automatically stepping into the political zone. Let's be real.
Yeah, very true, very true. But like the whole thing is that, like, to me, like we have to have like a line that has to be crossed, and we have to have that line defined on what it is. And to me, it's just like, yeah, like okay, blackface isn't cool. Like you shouldn't go out there and be playing blackface as like a joke in like some kind of like a comedic context, like, and that's
well,
like,
I mean, do you remember Tropic Thunder?
I was about to say that.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
like the world just now discovered Tropic Thunder and what Robert Downey Jr. did, but they missed the point of the character.
Is that it was about that? Yeah.
It was an actor who went under that controversial decision in the film to do that role, and it wasn't part of the. And that to me is what made that movie so freaking great,
dude.
That whole interaction.
To this day, I still quote like a lot of Tropic Thunder. I still run around like,
same here.
I know who I am. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. Yeah, I'm a lead farmer, motherfucker. Like.
It's just like, what do you mean, you black people?
Oh. Pump your brakes, bro. Yeah, so
talk about national treasure.
Exactly. So like it's just like I don't know. I think this to me it's the timing that's bothering me the most. It's just like your virtue signaling. If this was a huge issue for you and you cared about these people, why all of a sudden when it's becoming an issue are you now voicing your concern and going, you know what, guys, I can't justify this and walking away? It's like, I don't know, like it's like me if I got a role as a female and they're like, you're dressed as a female and there's qualified females all here. I'm like, I can't do this, guys. Well, that's way out of my range.
Maybe it's a point to where everyone essentially knew that like this was kind of a effed up scenario, such as like blackface or things like that. But no one really felt strongly enough to voice an opinion until things started happening that was more noticeable now that there's cameras freaking everywhere. And pretty much the whole movement of the Black Lives Matter. And I've actually have come to this determination that there's 2 things happening here that are connected. You have Black Lives Matter, and then you have essentially police brutality, and they connect each other, right? Or police reform. So we have a large chunk of people who want police reform, and then you have a large movement of Black Lives Matter. They are connected, but they are separate issues. And I think they need to be addressed separately before they can become together. But no one is really seeing that. I feel like that these are 2 different issues, 2 different subjects, but they connect. So if you can address police reform separate without interference of Black Lives Matter, but just in general, and then we handle or address Black Lives Matter, the movement, their issues, their equality, and then once that's settled and agreed upon, bring them together.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Like, I feel like these are two situations that connect, but they
makes no sense because you're a cis white gender male. Get out of here.
Cis white gender?
Cis white gender male.
I'm a heterosexual male who's apparently white privileged because of that.
Exactly.
Which I don't understand at all.
So speaking
my life's not a struggle.
Speaking of people who are doing something that's actually wrong, we'll see. You're familiar with Jenna Marbles, right?
Yes.
So
she's like one of the oldest YouTube stars out there.
Dude, she's one of the biggest. Like she's not as big as PewDiePie because PewDiePie has like 100 million subscribers. I don't know how
she's got a shit ton, but I know she's got over 1 billion views.
Yeah, she's got 20 million subscribers.
And,
like 1 billion views and stuff.
Yeah, 3.5 billion views. Yeah, and looks like she's quitting.
Yeah, she's quitting because in 2011 she did a episode where she did blackface, and like I'm looking at
what's the context of the episode?
I don't think
is it straight degrading, or does it make sense? Something like Tropic Thunder, like that was beautifully executed. So if she's straight up just making fun of it, or if it depends on the context, in my opinion.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people laughed at it too. About color. Yeah,
I don't know. Like it's apparently she's also says she has a racist rap song and a slut shaming rap. What the? So she's done a lot of things that she's not proud of, and I get that. I understand that. But as like a content creator, like sometimes you're gonna create things that you're not gonna like. I don't know. Maybe she's just tired. Like she wants to cancel. Like, she's done with her channel. She's walking away from it, and that's a lot of money that's involved.
She looks tired because the video that she posted of her like apologizing here, it looks like she looks tired.
It looks like she just got out of the shower and she just like plopped herself down and had an interview with TMZ. So she was just like, I don't give no fucks. But so it's just like. Okay, she did blackface in 2011, and she did a bunch of other stuff she's not proud of. But to me, it's just like, look, I get it. Like it's once again, it's the context. Were you doing it out of comedy and all stuff? This was never meant to harm anybody, but at the same time, like that may not mean anything. I don't know. Like
that's the thing about comedy. Comedy is supposed to be talking about controversial subjects, and if it's executed well, it should be good. I mean, look at Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live had tons of controversial skits, but they were funny and very well executed. Now, if they try to play this balancing act, then you tend to read it, and like it's just like you see through it. It's just like, it's a crappy skit. Yeah. That's the thing about comedy. Like if this is meant for comedic purposes, you got to understand that you're going to offend people. That's comedy 101. You will offend people. Get over it. It's comedy.
Yeah,
but like I said, it's like, I haven't seen her video, so it depends on the context.
And no, I agree with you too. But like at the same time, like I agree. Like okay, so I'll justify my position in case someone wants to know. To me, I think there's a difference between doing comedy and you're doing it in a light, fun, and heart way, especially if you're trying to like show like the darker side of like society and culture and all stuff like this. Now, if you're doing it in a cruel way where you're trying to like target minorities or target certain groups of people and you're trying to degrade them and stuff, that's where you cross the line. But that's coming from my point of view. I don't know what black people in America are going to think. Even if they may not have that threshold. So I think when it comes to a lot of these subjects, we do have to meet people where they're at and not just sit there and assume that we know the answers to how people should feel. Because like, here's the thing, like it may be comedic, it may be good contextual, because there's books out there, there's people being canceled for a lot less than this, for just having difference of opinion when it comes to certain subjects. And that threshold is like very low. Like you can like moonwalk over that. Like there is no, it's a crappy threshold. So I'm gonna see if I can play this video real quick. See what she says.
Go for it.
TMZ.
In 2011. And
did you hear it?
I'll show you the clip.
No.
You can't hear it?
If it's going straight through your headphones, then that's the way it's hooked up.
Yeah,
private.
It's going into the podcast.
It has been private for quite some time.
It's been private for quite some time.
What?
The video.
Oh, her video was marked private, so people couldn't even see it?
And I do just want to tell you.
That's interesting.
So her video's been private for a while, and she's just like, I want to tell you about it. And
that it was not my intention to do blackface. This is the end of the video where I took my wig off. I don't know how else to say this.
So in the video, she's basically saying like it looked like she was doing blackface, but she had like dark makeup on and she takes her wig off. She looks normal. So it's like one of those things where you put like a lighter color and a darker color together and you put like a shadow over it and it makes it both look dark. It was like, got nerdy there for a second.
But it doesn't matter because all that matters is that people were offended. And
so she's saying like, people, it doesn't matter what she thinks or what she was trying to do in the video, but because people were offended and that's what matters.
You're going to offend everybody. Just by breathing, I'm offending some people.
No, I agree with you. The threshold of being offended is so low. Like I remember, like
the person.
We're running out of time here. We got like 4 minutes left, but I'll get rule in this podcast. I remember my brother and I were walking down the street. I was probably 14 years old, and it was like the first time I had to deal with like racism directly. I had this van pull up, and I won't, describe anybody, but I had this van pull up, and they look over at us, and we're on the sidewalk. We're walking, and they started yelling "spick" at us. So it was just like they're like "spicks," and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like what the hell? Like, so I'm just a boy. Like I don't know anything about this. I'm growing up in the hood, and this van just pulls up with two dudes in it, and they're just yelling "spick" at me. But like I didn't go home, I didn't cry, I didn't tell anybody about it. Like I went on about my life. Like, and I think we ended up cursing them out and flicking them off, and I think they even chased us. Because I vaguely remember my brother and I running behind like a Publix, trying to escape. It's like they're grown ass men. Like we're fucking teenagers, God. So just like, but like I grew up at a time where like you had to be tough, you had to be hard. And I'm not saying that, like, I'm not trying to be like an old dude who's like, oh, back in my day, I had to climb up 200 miles of hills to get to school. But it's just like, I think our society is rewarding this idea of being offended. So more and more people are acting offended when they're really not. And they're just seeking attention, and they're virtual signaling to get fake points when it comes to life. Like it's easier to be some made up thing than it is actually to go out there and be something actually, to show through your actions. Don't want to get political. This is why I had another podcast for this.
Yeah, so, we're this rock star nerds and we're diving into political shit.
Yeah, so, no, we're supposed to be nerds.
That's all you.
Yeah.
The leader of this campaign.
But I'm pretty sure we're gonna get some hate comments. But like, here's the thing: if you guys have if someone's listening to this podcast right now, and they want to sit there and correct me, I'm all for it. I'm all about discussion and discourse and about communicating with one another and having open and honest communication. But it has to be polite. It has to be civil. Like if you're gonna get in the comment section, you're just gonna blow it up with like, I hate you, you suck, you blah blah. I'm gonna cancel you. I'm gonna report you, flag your content, blah blah. That's not gonna help you. And it's not going to help me.
Or your cause.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't help anybody. You basically just blind yourself. That's like, I hate your face, and you stab yourself in the eyes. And it's just like, that doesn't solve anything. So anyways. So, yeah, she's canceling her channel because people got offended.
She just throws away millions of dollars. I think there's more to it.
Yeah,
if that was in hiding for like the longest time, that wasn't just eating at her soul. No, she was just... I think there's more to it. I think she's just tired. Look at her. She looks tired as hell. She's been doing this for years. And having to be a content creator. Oh God.
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty sure she's got enough in the bank.
Yeah. I think she just wants to move on to other projects and do other things. And, here's the thing. Sometimes your channels and the things that you're producing take on their own lives. And the only way you can get away from them is just to simply just be like, walk away. Because here's the thing, she cannot sell that channel.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she is the channel, like she leaves, there isn't like NBC buys the channel. They're not going to come in and put a new character, a new actor in there, or a new person, and it's going to have the same effect. People are just going to tune out because it's her. So it's just like the only way you can monetize these channels is if you have advertisement, if you sit there and get the views, all stuff, this blah blah. You do Patreons or whatever, you know. So it's like it's not like a what you call it not expandable business, but you know what I'm talking about, right? You can't like expand the business and grow it out and all stuff this because it is just her. So maybe she is just tired and she's just done and she's like, hey, this is my way out. I'm done. Goodbye to my own fans. So. I'll create a new channel.
But the way to do it though, I think is just weird.
I don't know. Maybe she just.
I'm gonna go out on a high note and be holding myself accountable for showing a video that I've hidden for years. Like,
well, I don't know if she hid him for years. I got to listen to the video again. But my thing is that, like, look, at the end of the day, if you think you're doing something wrong and you want to correct it, I applaud her for coming out and being honest about it. You know, coming out and just being like, hey, look, I did some stuff back in my day. That takes guts. It's very rare in this society that you'll find people who just like, yo, look at the dumb stuff I did. You know, like I pointed it out so you could see it.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure everyone has got some things that they're really embarrassed about or things that they should
hell yeah.
I mean, I do. Everyone does.
Yeah, dude. So like, my thing is, okay, so good for her if she wants to come. If she's genuine about it and she wants to cancel her channel because she, you know, cares about the cause and she cares about people, good for her. But if it's just like her way out, you know, like she's
that's
like
a very interesting way to go out.
Exactly. I don't know. I'm not, like, once again, I'm not one to sit there and try to figure out people's motivations. That's conspiracy theories, people's jobs. But you know, it's very interesting to watch all these celebrities that are now coming out and being like, oh, I'm canceling myself before you canceled me.
Canceling myself. Kristen Bell, Jenna Slate. I mean, sure. Do you guys. Do whatever you want to do. You're a human. You have that right. Thank God for your freedom.
Exactly. But that's going to end it for this episode. You got any parting words, sir?
Next time.
We'll stick
to nerds. We'll stick to nerds, though.
Stick to nerds. All right, guys. That's going to be it for this episode. If you have any other questions or you want us to cover or talk about a topic, go ahead and hit it. Put it in the comments down below. If you hate us and you don't like us, put it in the comments down below and give us a dislike. If you love us, give us a like. And then, so we're going to have a bunch of episodes. Yeah. We're going to be having a bunch of episodes that are going to be coming out throughout the week. And it's going to be, like, I'm working on an episode right now for, like, the top 5 nerdy things that are coming to Netflix in July. That should be hitting probably Monday-ish, depending when I get my ass around to editing.
There's some news coming out, too,
So, yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that. We're going to be producing more content than just podcast. All right, guys, that's going to be it for us. Peace.